Good morning students, welcome back to social science class. History chapter 1, when, where and how. Take your social science book, page number 104. Last class we have discussed about sources of history. The sources of history divided into two categories. One is archaeological source, another one is literary source. What is archaeology? Archaeological sources are discovered and studied under a separate branch or discipline of historical research called archaeology. Archaeological Today we are going to study in detail archaeological sources. Archaeological sources are basically the material evidence like historical buildings, coins, inscription and other remains that gives important and detailed information pertaining to a particular period. It provides archaeological sources provides us with a more unbiased information. Archaeological sources can be categorized into different types, of which inscription, monuments and coins are the most important. So in these archaeological sources, different types of archaeological sources will be there. One is inscription, monuments and coins are the most important one. Let us see one by one. Inscription. Here first you need to understand what is inscription. Writing on pillars, rocks, cave, walls of forts, clay tablets, metal plates, houses and tombs etc. are called inscription. Again I will repeat. What is inscription? Writing on pillars, rocks, cave walls of forts, clay tablets, metal plates, houses and tombs etc. are called inscription. These inscriptions provide political and social information of the past. We learn the names of the kings, the religions and cultural practice of the people and so on. The inscription provide us authentic information about important events, important dates, the personal qualities of the rulers, the mutual relations of different rulers, about the specimens of art and administrative measures. Sometimes sometimes the place from where these inscriptions have been found provides speculation about the extent of the empire of certain rulers. So all these information are authentic information. Then we will get the important dates, events and personal qualities of the rulers. Everything were mentioned in this inscription. Look at this image. This image here Kharosthi script was used for writing. So this is Kharosthi script. Okay. So here also we don't know how to read the Kharosthi script. So here also we can get the information about the important events, dates and personal qualities of the rulers also. Is it clear? Monuments. Here first you need to understand what is monuments. Old buildings such as forts, palaces, temples, mosques, cemeteries, etc. which were built for some special purpose are called monuments. The study of old monuments show the artistic skill of that time, because all the information in that monuments only is there. So the social life, their religious belief, their culture, etc. The study of old monuments show the artistic skill of that time, the social life, their religious belief, their culture, etc. For example, Sanchi Stupa, the university at Nalanda, then the Shore Temple at Mahabalipuram, etc. are some of the ancient Indian monuments. Have you ever visited Shore Temple at Mahabalipuram? So the description of buildings erected for religious or civil purposes, such as temples, stupas, palaces and private houses, point to the condition prevailing in ancient times. Monuments of identical character excavated in India and abroad establish a link between various areas of the globe, suggesting that people from ancient India reached foreign lands. So in that monuments only we will come to know about the religious, what are the religious purpose, they construct the buildings, temples, then stupas, palaces. Then in that monuments when they are excavated in India and abroad, what are the relationship between India and abroad people? So we can get the information through these monuments only. The temple of Angkor Wat in Cambodia is an outstanding example. So we have that foreign trade contact. So foreign people, foreign lands. So in the ancient time, people are reached foreign lands, and these foreign people has to come here. So all this relationship, so we can see in the Temple of Angkor Wat in Cambodia is an outstanding example. So we have to know about the different religious systems in ancient times. So through Brahmanical, Buddhist and Jain monument, we can see the history of the different religious system. For example, Brahmanical, Buddhist and Jain monuments. So all these monuments help us to know the history of different religious systems in ancient times. So monuments means what is that? Old buildings such as forts, palaces, temples, mosques, cemeteries, etc., which were built for some special purpose are called monuments. Is it clear? Coins. The study of coins is called numismatics. The study of coins is called numismatics. Here you can see the image of coins in the early to mid 3rd century, then mid 4th century, end of 4th century, 7th century. So in ancient India, the coins were made up of different materials such as bronze, lead, copper, silver and gold. Through these coins, scholars gather information about the periods when they were used as well as about the rulers who issued them. Coins inform us that many kingdoms of ancient India had commercial relations with other countries. Coins gives us chronological information about a particular ruler, his or her domain or of influence, and his her relation with other rulers. Roman coins discovered in India suggest that many ancient kingdoms of India had contact with the Roman Empire. So in the ancient India, the coins were made up of even bronze, as you know, bronze, lead, copper, silver, even gold coin also. But nowadays no gold coin, everything metal. So through these coins, scholars gather information about that. Through these coins only they have to return the year. Then face of the rulers, you can see here now also coins also there, when they printed that year, that some symbol, then rulers. Now no rulers face, but some face will be there. Coins inform us many kingdoms in ancient India had the commercial relation with it. So Roman coins discovered in India. So in that coin we can see how the Roman people are so many contact with. Okay, ancient kingdom of India had contact with the Roman Empire. So coins gave the information that is also gives us chronological information about a particular ruler, his or her relationship with other rulers. Is it clear, students? So study of coins is called numismatics. Other objects and artifacts. What is an artifact? In order to understand prehistory, we depend on the material remains of the past such as bones, tools, weapons, parts, coins, jewelry, cave paintings, etc. These are called artifacts. So other archaeological sources include numerous objects and artifacts found during excavations such as tools, pieces of pottery, sculptures, paintings, ornaments, etc. They are used as valuable supplementary source of additional information on the people who created them and the time in which they were made. Numerous terracotta, bronze statues and seals help in our understanding of the past. So numerous terracotta already used the terracotta. Then archaeologists have even started studying the plant remains, animal bones, and food grains found at different sites. The study of artifacts such as paintings, frescoes, and other objects of the past enable us to draw an outline of the history of Indian art. Like the monuments, artifacts are a great source of information. Is it clear? Students, today we covered archaeological sources. So archaeological sources can be categorized into different types, which is inscription, monuments and coins are the most important. So the study of inscription is called epigraphy. What is epigraphy? The study of inscription is called epigraphy and the study of coins is called numismatics. So that's all for today class. I hope you all understood. Meet you in the next class. Till then, revise the chapter taught. Thank you. Have a nice day.